the families and friends of those 4 murdered in that Idaho home near the campus of the University of Idaho are giving their impact statements before the thirsty killer, bloodthirsty, I mean, he just took everything from these people. And he hardly moves, but we've seen him flinch a couple times just in recent moments. We do have our Paul Morrow, former attorney and detective in the NYPD, inside the overflow room next to the courtroom, so he's able to get a more in-person view of what's happening. And outside in Boise, Idaho, is Donna Rotuna, Joshua Ritter, and Ted Williams are all standing by. So let's first go around the couch here just to get some information on what note-taking we've been doing, because this has been, I know they're called impact statements, but they have been that and so much more. So as we go, I'll introduce everybody. I'm Harris Faulkner. This is Outnumbered's coverage now. We have slid past our last hour. Nicole Parker, I want to go to you first, former FBI. What stands out? Is this how it normally goes? Some of these seem particularly aimed at that man who just started to move moments ago for the first time in over an hour.
I do believe that this is normally how it goes. Again, this is their one chance that they have been waiting for to face this killer. I'm not even going to acknowledge him by name. He doesn't deserve that. He is the killer. He brutally murdered these individuals. Going to one of the surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen. I think it's so important for people to understand the trauma that these people go through as a result of this brutality. She said that she had to sleep in her mom's bed. She was too scared. She made escape plans, assuming that her life could be taken, that someone could come and try to kill her after what she experienced. She's gone through panic attacks. She can't breathe. She can't stop shaking. She screams with emotional pain. When I listen to this, my heart breaks, because this is heartache that is going to last for the rest of their lives. For those of us that are commentating on it, you know, this is today and tomorrow will be another news story. This is something that they will never, ever escape.
Mark Eiglarsh is with us, and you and I have had some interesting sidebar conversations. I want to focus right now on sparing this killer's life. And you were saying to me, getting the death penalty, even in a state where you can get the death penalty, is not always easy. We saw one of the grandparents, the grandmother of Maddie Mogan, saying why she was glad they got a plea deal. She said it punishes the perpetrator and protects the public from further harm. Why would it be so hard to get? I mean, he's less than human.
Well, I don't disagree that ending his life would be the appropriate outcome. In fact, that would be too easy, the way that we kill people. He should be harmed and should suffer the way these families have. In order to get the death penalty, we've got this little thing called the Constitution. And so trials are not guaranteed. Prosecutors know that unless it's crimes committed in front of a busload of nuns, you know, you're not guaranteed a conviction. Then you got to go to the penalty phase. It takes 12 jurors, all unanimously in Idaho, to agree to the ultimate sanction. If one juror says, no, I think life is good enough for him, they're done. Then all the years of appeals. We're talking 30 years plus. Most of these family members will never see him executed. So this way, you have a guaranteed result. He waives his right to appeal. They move on, and we're hearing from some of the family members even today. I love hearing this. We're not going to let you continue to victimize us. We're going to move on. We're going to turn our energy towards living and surviving, and that is what this plea deal allows them to do.
Wow, I can hear you doing that closing argument like that. This is just so powerful to hear from these families. Rosanna Scotto now, the father of Kaylee Gonzalez, says, today we are here to finish what you started, looking right at Bryan Kohberger. You pick the wrong families. You pick the wrong state, the wrong police officers. You pick the wrong community.
These families are so brave to get up there and speak with this man in their presence. And he's basically emotionless. Kaylee's sister got up there and spoke, and she had a lot of questions for him, like, how did you do it? What did you do it with? What weapons? What was my sister's last words, she asked. But the way she ended it was so powerful. She said, if you hadn't attacked them in the middle of the night like a blanking pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your you-know-what. I mean, these families so strong as this guy sits there emotionless. And these families have to live with the trauma of missing their families every single day.
So as the sister of Kaylee Gonzalez was saying that, you took out your camera and took a picture of the screen, because that was really the first time that we saw anything from him. And when she said we would have kicked your, you know what, he went like this. So I don't know if he was nodding in agreement that she could have done that or what that was, but that was really, those were moments where we saw him move. And we watched that because for an hour, he was a stone.
Yeah, I mean, look, this has been hard to hear for all of us as well as for the audience. For the families, this is closure. The opportunity to face their killer, this hollow vessel, has been noted, that we've all seen on our screens, a monster. And this is also his judgment day as well. He also faced a judgment day before God, in my opinion, in my belief as well. This is an evil individual. And I think we're all asking, and I don't know if we'll ever know the answer, why did a PhD student decide to senselessly kill 4 students in their early 20s in the middle of the night and stab them to death? And you get to the Gonzalez family, which, you know, I think we all respect the power behind their words, has been noted throughout. And you also have the father mock him as well, saying within minutes, the police had your DNA. You were that careless, that stupid. A master's degree? You were a joke. And I think with the reaction of the Gonzalez family, that's finally when we saw, as you noted, some reaction from him, just a little bit of movement. But, you know, again, this is judgment day for a monster, and he's going to be banned to hell. One of the surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen, was so close to Madison Mogen, and her family was so powerful,
She saw him walk by her in the middle of the night.
And Dylan said, he is something less than human. He has chosen evil. I want to go now to Boise, Idaho, and joining us is Donna Rotunda, Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney, and also Joshua Ritter, Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney, and Ted Williams, also with us here at Fox as a contributor and former D.C. homicide detective and defense attorney. Ted, I'm actually going to start with you based on what Lisa and I were just talking about and the evidence that we know that he would have walked by someone in that house. I feel like every time we learn a detail that maybe we heard hit earlier, it just seems to have so much more power now that we're looking at the killer.
You know, Harris, you're absolutely right. You know, I listen here at these victim impact statements, and what we're seeing here are kind, decent human beings talking about someone that they love that is no longer here. I've heard the individuals there on your couch ask the big question as to why, and we saw Kaylee's sister call him just what he is, a loser. She also said that not only was he a loser, but a sociopath, psychopath, and a murderer. And I think that there is going to be closure, but it's very, very unfortunate that we are where we are, and we still don't know why he killed these 4 young, brilliant students.
Well, as Lisa and I have said, he's going to hell.
Yeah.
So he can try to plead whatever he wants in terms of why to the Lord. I want to go to Donna Rotunda now. And Donna, you've been there for a bit in Boise, Idaho. There have been people in the space of that state and around the community of the University of Idaho who have said they felt one way or the other about what should happen to this killer. What can you tell us on this day about what happens next?
Well, what happens next after we're done in court today? Obviously, the families on the prosecution side get to say their piece and get to tell us everything that we've heard so far. The strength from them, as everyone is saying, has been absolutely unbelievable. What an honor it is to listen to them talk to us about what they are feeling. We are privileged to be able to feel their pain. Now, Mr. Kohberger, of course, has the opportunity and will have the opportunity today to speak. I do not believe we will see that, especially given the stone-faced nature at which he has exhibited today and the way he sits there with zero emotion or feeling, almost indignant. I'm not sure if his lawyers will speak on his behalf. His family, I know, is in the courtroom. They may also talk about the impact this has had on their lives, because remember, when he goes to prison and those doors close, that family has to live the rest of their lives branded as the family of the murderer.
Okay, I do want to mention to everyone, too, because you can see the outside of the courtroom. There is nothing happening in that courtroom, and it hasn't for about 8 minutes. They are on a break. Right when we pulled out and that attorney family advocate started to read statements from the aunt and further statements from other family members on their behalf, we began pulling out. Those statements were noticeably shorter. And then they went into this break. And we've been told it could be, within the next 10 minutes or so. So we're watching for that. But I don't want anybody to think that we are outside that courtroom for any other reason than there's no action going on in the courtroom that we can see and report on, because they are at break right now. Joshua, I want to ask you to come in. I've been doing a little bit of digging about where Bryan Kohberger will go. And, you're hearing these impact statements and you're wondering, well, what kind of penalty could this killer pay? Will it be hell for him? Well, he's prescribed to go to an Idaho Supermax, where he'll get 23 hours in covered incarceration, as I would call, and then he gets outside or out into the world for, within the prison for just an hour a day. What else can you tell us about what lay ahead for him?
It's going to be an incredibly unpleasant life. I mean, if anybody thinks that somehow he's getting a reward by escaping the death penalty, if he had ever even received the death penalty, it would have been decades down the road, and the life that he's going to have while in prison is going to be awful. I mean, not only that, but he's now a marked man, having killed 4 young people, 3 of which were female. This is not the kind of crime that is taken lightly by fellow inmates. If I could, too, I wanted to comment on what we heard today. I was just so struck by how some of the family members took the opportunity to talk about their loved ones in a way that brought a smile to my face, tears to my eyes in some cases. And then other family members took that opportunity to have this captive moment with him, stare him straight in the face, and tell him exactly what they thought of him, and make him feel as much as they could their pain. It just was remarkable to me, the strength shown by everyone.
And again, the courtroom now is on a short break. We don't know exactly when this will resume. We have heard, I counted 9 impact statements directly from people either on behalf of their loved ones or the loved ones themselves. And then the last couple of statements were read by the family advocate, who was an attorney in the courtroom, and then they took this break.